So this plant is starting to dry out a lot recently, and the leaves are starting to yellow. So I've actually had to cut a bunch of leaves off because it's starting to get yellow in spots and then the leaves are dying. So it just needs more water than this planter can keep up with. So I'm gonna be putting it in this planter, far larger. I need so much that might not be the best choice. So I'm just gonna take this large measuring cup and I'm just gonna use this. This soil, by the way, is currently super dry because it's been in my basement for a long time. And so I'm going to need to, once the plant's in there, I'm going to really let it thoroughly soak. At the same time though, I'm a little wary of that because I don't want to get it too wet to where the plant is essentially sitting in mud, which is why you don't want to put a plant, you don't want to increase the pot size so much, which is what I'm a little concerned with this plant, but this plant grows really fast, so I think it's going to be fine. But that is absolutely my concern a little bit is, well, maybe this is too much. Maybe this is too much soil for this plant. So we'll see. This is really in there. So I'm going to take this. And try and loosen it out of this planter. It is in there. Really tight. Yeah, these roots must be really intense. I'm gonna try and push it from the bottom. There we go. So I pushed it from the bottom to that hole, and that helped it come out enough. So now I'll take this and I'm gonna break it up a little bit because I don't want the roots to stay in this planter position. I want it to spread out. So I'm taking the roots and I'm making it so that they can, you can see it, so that they're a little more spread out, see? I'm gonna make a hole so that these roots are gonna go kind of deeper in there, which is where they should be. put this at about as center as I can get it. And I think that's good. And then I'm going to fill the rest in with more soil. I'm not putting it all the way to the top because it gives it enough space to overflow. If you're watering it, you don't want to water it and then suddenly water's pouring out the side of your planter. That is terrible. And you want to fill in the sides because otherwise you get this kind of apex where it like suddenly kind of comes at like a hill. There's like a little, where the plant is suddenly the highest part of the planter. And you'll see, because this soil is dry, it's gonna eventually go down a bit. It's gonna start to sink. And definitely over the next few weeks, it'll begin to sink a bit. That's pretty much good right there. Yeah. Yeah, this is nice. And again, because it was such a large, I moved it from a pretty small planter where it was root bound at that point to this where now it's got a lot of space. I want to watch out for the next few months to make sure that it's not going to I don't want it to just sit in mud, because if it's wet all the time it's really easy for it to rot out. I'm not with this plant going to use sink tap water. This is filtered water that I used. I used a Brita. And this will give it enough. Because the soil was so extremely dry, I'm gonna water it quite a bit. You can see now how I'm watering it, and the soil is kind of sinking down a little bit.